gender empathy. I'm going to break it down for you. What is it that we need to unlearn? We need to unlearn that we've learned for over the years again and again. Years and years of our conditioning, of how to look at things in a certain way. Let me ask you all a question. What comes in the way of you being able to look at an individual as an individual? Our beliefs, our assumptions, the cultural scripts that we keep learning from all our interactions on a day-to-day basis. We learn so much from our environment, from the day we are born. So when it comes to families, we observe. We observe our families, we observe their mannerisms, we observe their practices. We also observe and imbibe a lot of that. And family is also a part of a larger society where certain cultural scripts are given and they're almost mirroring, passing them on from one generation to the other. We also learn from our schools, from our peers, through our interactions. We learn certain expectations, what expectations we have from our behavior, certain norms that we continue to practice, and again, something that we begin to imbibe so much that we start to look at people around us in those normative ways that are given to us. So what we need to unlearn is a lot of this years and years of conditioning that we've had. That it almost has made us define an individual before we even see them. Stereotypes. Who is emotional, who is weak, who is strong, who needs to do what. To the extent that you almost see that around you, so much so that before you even know the reality of an individual, you already have an impression, a blueprint in your mind. And you begin to see them without even getting to know their reality. It's because we all have some of these preconceived notions that we learned from our day-to-day environment. Our stereotypes, our biases become a compass that make us rely on them. But this compass does not always point to the truth, because reality for every individual can be different, and what shapes them can be different. What this compass may actually point us is towards the familiarity of it. Yes, I know it. I know because I've heard, I've seen, I've been told, I've been taught to look at things in a certain way, to look at people in a certain way. So I have a mental preconceived notion of a lot of these things. Now, before I come down to gender, let me just talk about first empathy. Why in a society where empathy is supposed to be given, we still need to talk about empathy? I mean, empathy is something that any society should have it. We live in a civilized world. Human values, human emotions are supposed to be respected. Then why is it that we have to still talk about empathy? And empathy, a word now that we tend to see all around us, everybody talking about it. Yet, do we see that as it actually being practiced in our day-to-day life as a value? Empathy is not just merely a word, it's a value. It's a human value. And why are we having to talk about this so much so today? Is because in the first go, when we were supposed to have given it to people, we tend to lose it. We tend to lose it because of these biases and stereotypes and assumptions and judgments that we continue to carry in our minds. Then once we lose it, we want to bring it back. We want to bring it back because we recognize, well, I still have certain value left, so I need to bring back my empathy. But then there are so many years of conditioning, and we've learned so much, we've conditioned ourselves so much so, that now we are wanting to figure I mean, that conditioning is almost becoming a second nature. So that conditioning, now we are thinking, why is it and how is it that I can uncondition myself and unlearn it? Which is, again, something which is difficult. And from there, we recognize that I've come a long way. And I need to learn it. In any case, in today's time, we all believe that we know everything. You go on OpenAI, you type empathy, they'll give you a big note, you learn about it, and you feel you've learned empathy. We pick up a lot of these things from our day-to-day life. You pick up any news, or you pick up a discussion, you'll certainly quickly go online, you'll type it, you'll read the headline, and you will believe that you actually know what the story is about. Because we are quick to learn, we are quick to judge, we are quick to assume, because that has what has become our second nature. We look at families. When we are conformed in a certain way, we don't have time to listen. We don't listen because we already know something. And that's how we continue to live our life. I know it. I know it all. I'm aware. I'm aware to my own sense of awareness, but I'm actually really aware. Am I? What do I call awareness in today's time? Picking up a few information from there, almost confirming it to what I already know in my mind, and then I say I'm aware. And this new trend of self-awareness, self-empathy, kindness towards self, self-compassion. I mean, in our times when there were moral science classes, a lot of these models and values, they never had a self and the other to it. Moral values never had a type to it. Values are values. Empathy, compassion, kindness, altruism, it's unsaid. I mean, it is for you and for you to practice with the other. There was never a divide of self and the other. It was always about together. But somewhere we've lost it in the society that we've only created it. And which is why now we are having to bring it back. But again, it's coming in different directions. Sensitivity to our own needs. Sensitivity to our own emotions. And that self, where there is so much fragility to it. And the way it has been shaped, the way it has been grown, whatever it has learned over the years, we are unable to unsee it. We are unable to unlearn it. So society is supposed to have a morality principle. And when that morality principle goes away, then the self is left to only navigate one's own impulses and one's own needs. And that's what we are seeing in today's time. Quick to learn, quick to assume, quick to have an impulse to gratify ourselves, and quick to judge. And if we are quick to judge, then how can there be empathy? Because for empathy, you have to hear. For empathy, you have to listen. For empathy, you have to understand. For empathy, you should be willing to be more open without having those assumptions and stereotypes in your mind. And that's what we have to unlearn, to be able to bring back empathy in our day-to-day lives. Now, let me put this in the context of gender. For generations and generations, we've had gender roles, we've had gender expectations, we've had gender assumptions for something which is biological, not even in our choice. I mean, who decides who can cry and who can't? Who is more aggressive and who is less? Who is more expressive and who is less? Who is more capable and can be seen more capable in what subject and who can't be? Who can choose which career? Who can play a certain game, and who can't? Who defines all of these roles for us? Who decides who needs to stay at home and who needs to go out? Who decides who needs to be in which part of home and who doesn't need to be? Who defines and decides the limits of our strength, measures the depth of our sensitivity, makes silence as a measure of our strength again, and emotions as a language of weakness? Who decides all of that? Where did we learn all of this? Who made this compass for us and who mapped it all for us? And that's what we need to really unlearn. We have to understand the kind of impact it has on us. We internalize so much because these biases and stereotypes, not only are they harmful, but they also limit our capacity and our capability in a certain way. We all box ourselves because we want to fit into that. How do we decide who fits where? But when we keep hearing this and learning this from our environment, we do box ourselves within that capacity, within the way people want to look at us. And as a result of that, there is an emotional setback that we all tend to have. We have an internalized pressure to be how people, society wants us to be. There is an internalized pressure that each and every one of us experience it. And that internalized pressure creates a lot of self-doubt, criticism towards self. And if you will be critical towards self, you will also have a capacity to be critical towards the other. And as a collective, what we do end up seeing is that it erodes our collective sense of empathy again in the society because it maintains inequity. It continues to maintain the social divide, the self and the other. The community, the society continues to be rigid. You look all around you. I mean, let's bring back the empathy aspect over here. Bullying. We see that so commonly happening in schools. And again, it is coming in from the aspect of relational aggression. Aggression which is intended. We see that a form of it on social media now. Cyberbullying, trolling. I mean, empathy which is supposed to be given in a society, and I am repeating that because it was supposed to be given, the way we've just completely taken it out. Every day, somebody or the other is being trolled. Negative messages are being passed on, shared, liked. The algorithms of our life are being shaped by all of this negativity around us. And it's not making us aware, it's making us believe and conform to a lot of that we see around us. The negativity, the judgment, the bias, the stereotype. I believe in today's time, we are a lot more stereotyped and biased and judgmental than ever before. Because again, we believe that we are aware, but we are not. Schools, learning spaces need to be a lot more reflective in being able to deconstruct a lot of this. The stereotypes, the biases, how can we break it? Because they are both explicit and implicit. You may see it very directly in our behaviors, in our actions, in our language, the way we speak, the way we label. Or it can also be implicit. Sometimes we don't even recognize it because, like I said, it's become our second nature. We are conditioned. So how can we bring back more and more critical, reflective, thinking approach in our learning spaces where young people collaborate together to have a dialogue, to learn a lot more, to deconstruct a lot of this? What can communities do? How can social media be a platform and communities can bring back our shared sense of collectiveness, our responsibility? I mean, when you see some of these posts, please unsee them. Ask yourself whether what you are seeing is really what you're seeing, or is it what you're being shown? And again, is it having an influence on you, in our thought process, in our emotions? Because we feel it. We feel it too. When we see so much aggression, when we see so much negativity around us, we feel it. And if we are not feeling it, then we are becoming desensitized to it. Because we've seen it so much that it has almost desensitized us. So how can media and us using media can bring back our collective sense of responsibility? Bring back the aspect of sharedness, mutuality. All of that we need to bring back, to be able to bring back the empathy in our day-to-day lives. Without empathy, we are rigid. Without empathy, we are not aware. Without empathy, human values, something that is part of our core, cannot be practiced, cannot be put in use. So bring back all of those values and bring back empathy by unseeing, unlearning, and unconditioning yourself to a lot of these years and years of learning that we've had, the scripts that we've been given. Because it's time that you ungender empathy. Thank you.